to now, if we wanted to find the area of a triangle, your whole lives, you've been taught the area of that triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. Do you guys understand that? Yes? Okay. But the problem with that formula is you have to know the height. So if it's not a right triangle, you have to go find it, right? Well, now we have formulas that will give you the area of any triangle, even if you don't know the height. What this formula says is that the area of any triangle is always 1/2, 2 of the sides multiplied together, times the sine of the angle in between those sides. So I'm going to write that in words so that you don't have to memorize all 3 of these. The area of any triangle equals 1/2 side 1 times side 2 times the sine of the angle between those sides. That's the area formula for any triangle. 1/2 any side times the sine of the angle that sits between those 2 sides. So now we don't always have to go and find the altitude. Let's talk for a minute about the formula we used to have. If it's a right triangle, let's talk a little bit about that. I'm going to draw a right triangle up here. And let's call this, I don't know, you want to call that A, this B, and this C. Back from like grade school, how would you calculate the area of that triangle? You would say the area equals 1/2 the base times the height, right? Which would be A times B? Yes? Okay, let's look at it using this formula. If I say that the area equals 1/2 the base, or the A times the B times the sine of C. What is C?
90 degrees.
In that case, it's always 90 degrees. Well, what is the sine of 90 degrees? It's +1, right?
So it always.
Which equals 1/2 A times B. So the formula that you've known since you were young is actually just a very specific case of this formula right here for the right triangle. Isn't that interesting? Just happens to be the sine of 90 is 1, so you don't have to factor anything in there. And that's for right triangles only. So let's look at this example. We would like to find the area of triangle capital ABC, given that one side is 34.0 feet, another side is 42.0 feet, and the angle in between them is 55 degrees and 10 minutes. So we know that the formula has to be area equals 1/2 any side times any other side times the sine of the angle that sits between them. So all I have to do is multiply all of those things together and I will know the area of that triangle. Now remember that when you type in 55 degrees in 10 minutes, the easiest way to do that is to type it in as 55 plus 10 over 60. Do you guys remember that? Okay. So see what you get there. Okay. So when we multiply all of those things together, we got 586.0633683. And we will go to 3 significant digits, so that is approximately 586 what? Square feet? Yes? Because feet times feet, those units are squared. What are the units on a trig function value?
Degree.
Do you guys remember?
Radian.
If you take the sine, cosine, or tangent of something, what are its units? Does anybody know? Degrees are the angles. Radians would be the angle in radians. You're correct. It does not have any. Why? What is a trig function? Trig function is a ratio of side lengths, right? So it's two sides stacked over the top of each other, right? So if you stack two sides over each other, what happens to their feet? They cancel. So there are no units on that. Okay. We only have one more.
Yeah, so it's just 580.
For the final example, we have this triangle where we're given two angles and we're given one side, which is typically a law of sines problem, when you know two angles and you know any side. In order to find the area of the triangle, you have to know at least two sides and you need the angle in between them. So I only know one side. That means I need to stop and figure out either little a or little c. You guys tell me which you want to find.
Little a.
Little a. Okay, let's find little a. So if we find little a, we know that a divided by sine of a must equal little b divided by sine of b. Uh-oh, we don't know sine of b. How can we find it?
180 minus
180 minus all of the others, right? Or you could add the two together and then just do 180 minus those. It's however you prefer. You guys take a minute and see if you can find little capital B for me. So be careful when you type that in to find capital B. You have to type it like 180 minus parentheses 24 plus 40 out of 60 minus parentheses 52 plus 40 out of 60. If you don't put the parentheses, it won't work out properly. So we got that B was 102.6666. So it's like 6 repeating, right? Okay, degrees. And that's what I'm going to put here, sine of B.
You could do 102 plus 4 or 3.
You could. Yeah, it's 40 out of 60. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to cross multiply and solve for A. So everybody cross multiply and solve for A.
All right. Did you guys get 11.6775446.2? That's A. Now don't round yet, you guys. We're not finished. This is not our final answer. That's what we got for little a. I would ask you to compute the area. So the area is equal to 1/2 of AB times the sine of the angle between them, which in this case would be capital C. So that's 1/2, and do not round yet. So 1/2 of all of this times 27.3 times the sine of 5240. So let's type that in and let's find our area.
169.
So when we computed all of that, we got 126.7410496 square centimeters. But significant digits tell us that we should only round to 3 significant digits. So that would be 127 centimeters. No, square centimeters. Did everyone get that? Yes. Any questions about that? So you see, that was a pretty involved problem. And that wraps up section 7.1.